Welcome back to the channel. Tonight's story takes us deep into the woods, where a simple summer camping trip turns into something much darker. I was 17 when this happened. It was the summer before my senior year, and like most teenagers, I just wanted to make the most of every night. My best friend Liam and I had planned a weekend camping trip out at a river bend campground we'd heard about from some kids at school. It was supposedly quiet, barely patrolled, and deep enough in the forest that nobody bothered you. We told our parents it was just a guy's trip, fishing, swimming, maybe a little drinking, and they were cool with it. Liam's older cousin Drew was 21 and tagged along mostly because he had a car and could buy beer. The river bend was about an hour and a half outside of town. We reached the dirt turnoff around 6 p.m. Friday evening. The sun was low, golden light filtering through the trees as we unloaded gear, coolers, and our little tent. The whole area felt still, almost too still. No wind, no bird song, just the sound of water slowly moving through the river a few feet away. It was beautiful in that rugged, untouched way, and for the first few hours, everything was fine. We grilled some hot dogs over a fire, cracked open beers when the sun set, and watched the stars start to creep out across the sky. It wasn't until around 11 p.m. that things got off. We were sitting around the fire, talking about old childhood stories, when we all heard a splash. It wasn't huge, more like something stepped into the water upstream. Drew grabbed the flashlight and pointed it toward the bend. The light only went so far, but we all saw something move along the tree line, a silhouette, human-shaped, small, like a kid. "Hey!" Liam called out, assuming maybe it was another camper. "You good?" No reply. We figured it was probably some late-night fisherman or a hiker that got turned around. But none of us could shake the weirdness of it. It was late, and this place wasn't exactly known. Plus, there were no other cars near the entrance when we arrived. Eventually, we tried to brush it off and went to sleep. Drew had the tent to himself, and Liam and I set up near the fire pit in sleeping bags under the stars. I remember drifting off to the sound of crickets starting to come back, only to wake up to silence, total silence. And then a voice, faint but unmistakable. "Help! Please help me." I sat up, heart pounding. Liam was already half awake beside me, staring toward the river. The fire had burned down to red embers, but I could still see a figure, that same small frame, standing right at the edge of the water. "Hello," I called out. The figure didn't move. Liam got up, grabbed the flashlight, and clicked it on. The beam lit up the boy's face. He couldn't have been older than 10, short, soaking wet, with pale skin and dark black hair stuck to his forehead. He just stood there, unmoving. His eyes were too wide, too empty. We approached slowly, maybe 5 steps, when suddenly he turned, fast, and ran straight into the river. We sprinted after him, yelling, but by the time we reached the edge, he was gone. No splash, no sound, just ripples in the water and an eerie calm that made the hairs on my neck stand up. We stood there in shock for a minute before Drew came out of the tent, swearing and asking what the hell was going on. We tried to explain, but Drew didn't believe us. Said it was probably a dream, maybe a deer, or we were just drunk. But Liam and I both knew what we saw. That kid. He looked at us, right at us. We barely slept that night. The next morning everything felt off. The firewood we stacked was scattered. Liam's backpack was open and half his snacks were missing. At first we thought maybe it was raccoons or something, but then we saw the footprints, bare, human, small, leading from the river up toward our camp, and then back. We decided to stay one more night. I don't know why. Maybe because we didn't want to seem scared. Maybe we thought it was all explainable. That second night was colder, quieter. We sat around the fire, barely talking, and kept the flashlight nearby the whole time. Around 1 a.m., the fire started to die, and Drew went to grab more wood. He was only gone for like 5 minutes. When he came back, he looked pale, sweating. He said he heard breathing behind the trees, heavy, like someone was crouched just out of sight, watching him. He swore he heard something whisper, "He's not alone this time." We didn't sleep at all after that. Liam and I sat with our backs to the fire while Drew kept his knife in his lap, staring out into the dark. It was around 3 a.m. when we saw him again. The boy, this time closer, sitting on a rock, dripping wet, just watching us. I tried to speak, but the words caught in my throat. The boy slowly tilted his head like he was curious or hungry. Then he smiled. It wasn't right. Not a kid's smile. It was wide, twisted, like something pretending to be a kid. And when he stood, his feet didn't splash into the water. He walked on top of it, like the river was solid beneath him. Drew yelled and threw a rock, but the boy vanished, not into the water. He just faded, like a shadow swallowed by fog. We packed up and left before sunrise, drove the whole way back without stopping. We never told our parents what happened. Not really. Just said it got weird, and we didn't like the area. A few weeks later, I looked up the campground online. It had been closed to the public since 2007 due to multiple accidental drownings involving children. The most recent? A 10-year-old boy who disappeared near the bend while fishing with his father. They never found his body. That was the story of the boy at the river bend. A chilling reminder that not every shadow in the woods is just your imagination, and sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. If this story gave you chills, drop a like, subscribe for more real-feeling horror tales, and hit the bell so you never miss what's lurking out there. Thanks for watching, and be careful where you camp this summer.